of Locked and Loaded JDM. I'm your host, Jamal, aka J Clay, and I actually have a special guest here, all the way from Japan, my close friend, Albo. He's better yet known on YouTube as Albo Media. Has a completely astonishing following, over 300,000 subscribers. He's been in Japan for about 11 years, and I'm actually going to let Albo actually give a little intro to himself. So, Albo, why don't you introduce yourself?
So, first of all, hey everybody, I don't mind the background noise as I'm driving to a meeting, but actually, here, you guys can hear the beats. Wait. First, let me make sure I'm driving the correct direction, because I already made one wrong turn. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to this turn.
That's impressive. that's very impressive. You can hear it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I'm glad I was able to introduce you guys to the wonderful sounds of VTech. I should make that my series intro, right? Just like
that would actually make it sound really cool.
It's copyrighted. Maybe the sound is copyrighted. Anyways, hey everybody, I'm Albo. Like Jamal said, I'm living here in Japan. I lived here for the past 11 years. I came here in 2010 on something called the JET program. So I was originally a English teacher / cultural ambassador. And I was living in a small town called Fujioka in Gunma Prefecture, which a lot of you might know. I've heard of because of the anime Initial D. And, I guess you could say my claim to fame was originally releasing a video about clubbing in Tokyo. That was my first video that really blew up. But that was short-lived because I got really into the car scene here in Japan. It turned out I was living quite close to where Initial D actually takes place in real life. And on the way to work in the mornings, I was working at this small elementary school kind of in the mountains. And I would pass through this toge and I would see like fresh tire marks on the road, like drift marks. And sometimes some of those drift marks would go into like the guardrail. So I was like, okay, that wasn't there when I passed by the previous afternoon. So I would always kind of wonder, is this real? Like where are these, where are these tracks coming from? And so, I had kind of pieced together that this was where Initially takes place. And so I decided, let me buy a sports car. So I bought a Miata and slowly got, a little bit more into cars. And I made some friends who were also car guys. One of them was also, or they were all English teachers, but one of them was this guy who was from South Africa. And he was also getting into drifting. So he invited me along one time and I came along with him. And I happened to have my camera on me. And we went and we had the chance to watch street drifting. And it was so mind-blowing for me. It was so crazy that I took the wrong turn again. Okay. Hang on. That's okay. Let me just hear my story. What was I saying? I had the chance to experience that in real life, and I thought this was incredible. So I started making some videos about it. And ever since then, I've just been making videos about Japanese car culture, and it's been so.
It's awesome, man. Honestly, I think anyone here, especially me, of course, basically finds every video that you've made astonishing and just completely immerses you. You feel like you're part of the car culture and the exploration of Japan that you've taken on yourself. And it's a testament to, I think, a lot of the dreams for a lot of Canadians and even North Americans in general, that you're living this dream and we're all living vicariously through you. So really appreciate that.
Thank you. I can see that. I can see how that kind of rings true, because definitely for me, in growing up, it was always kind of the dream to come to Japan and be able to live in Japan and experience all of this world. So in a way, I'm just trying to give back to to the community, because there's not a lot of people who have this opportunity to create this kind of content. And I'm kind of like smack dab in the middle of it, and very passionate about it. And in a lot of ways, it's just my life now. You know, I'm just going around filming like snippets of my life, and it just so happens to be just a Venn diagram of like my life in JDM car culture. I'm just filming the middle of that, and so it's honestly, it's been a blessing, an honor, and a huge opportunity that I'm super grateful for.
I completely agree with you. Speaking of just going into that, because obviously our main audience is car enthusiasts, what would you say is the main differences that you've experienced and are aware of, because you also have been to the States, of car culture in Japan compared to car culture here in North America and Toronto specifically?
Well, I would say the culture here is very, very deep, and it goes back like 40 plus years. And the guys who were, running 40 years ago, let's say they were in their 20s, they're like 50s, 60s, 70s now, right? And so Japan has a very hierarchical society where there's the concept of like senpai and kohai, or like senior and junior. And that is an integral component of Japanese culture, and it gets expressed in every aspect of culture, including, of course, car culture or JDM culture. So one thing I noticed is that, of course, we're all into JDM, Japanese car culture, and this is the source. So everything kind of emanates from here and is kind of dispersed through media around the world. And so what I see is a lot of like trends and ideas and memes. I don't mean meme in a sense of like, like those funny pictures with the text and stuff. I mean memes as in like ideas that are spread.
Yeah.
And there is some dilution of the original idea and the conception of it, which often has a very Japanese underpinning. It's just the way the conception of that idea has Japanese undertones that don't translate well, or are difficult to translate directly to a different culture, because that culture has a very different, the psyche of the people are very different. And so, in a lot of ways, I kind of approach looking at this like JDM car culture as kind of like a sociologist, and through the perspective of, it's not about the cars, it's about the people. And what I notice is really just a lot of the ways that Japanese people are different. And one of the things that I think would be good to highlight is the idea of respect. And within Japanese culture, there is an expectation of respect. And then the flip side of that is, if you don't adhere to, I don't want to say adhere, but like if you don't observe those social expectations of respecting other people, respecting people who you don't know, respecting people who are inside and out of your community, the flip side of that is shame. And so there is a very strong culture of like, there's the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things. And the right way to do things is kind of like the common sense way of doing something, or it's considered to be the way that people should act in a given situation. And it's like common sense. If you don't adhere to that common sense principle, then you kind of like make a fool out of yourself. And within Japanese culture, it's very important to maintain that kind of that social, to not drop down in that social positioning. And of course, I'm not Japanese, but and I'm not a trained sociologist either, but these are just my observations. Yeah. And I do feel that the double-sided coin of like having respect and also trying to essentially not humiliate yourself is a very important component that is expressed in Japanese culture. And as a result, when you see it in Jaded car culture, you basically see that car enthusiasts tend to show each other respect. And that is also expressed in respecting your car and respecting your driving ability. And so the passion of cars is treated as an important, especially because Japanese people are so busy, they can really only pick like several hobbies, right? So if they were to get into cars, they really get into it and they want to get really good at it, and they really want to be, if not world class, they don't want to be a joker about it. You know what I mean? So there's a very strong sense of trying to understand what is the right way of doing things, and then doing it that right way.
Okay.
So sorry, that was a bit of a long-winded answer, but
no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Now, actually, I'm sure a lot of people would like to know as well, what cars do you own in Japan, and what kind of what are your favorite cars?
Well, right now I'm driving my S2000. So I have the S2000. I have a Subaru Forester STI, and before that I had a Bug-Eye WRX STI, and before that I had at the same time I had a yellow and a Mazda Miata, which unfortunately was totaled early last year. And what else? And then before that I had a black and a Miata. So yep. Oh, and now I have that's right, I have another car, which is a green one, green NB Miata, which is still going through the process of inspections. Okay. So yeah, I have 3 cars right now, which is kind of hilarious when I think about how much I'm paying for parking.
Yeah, I've heard that it can get a little bit pricey there, but I'm sure just owning them is worth it.
Well, I'm owning the S2000 and the Forester STI is really worth it because they really complement each other well.
Yeah.
The Roadster, it's still inconclusive because I haven't driven it for 3 months. Long story, but it's still going through inspections, which for some reason, like the guy has to do it, like it still hasn't been done. But yeah, hopefully when I get it back, it will be so the thing is, right, like the S2000 is and the Roadster, they're both convertibles, but they have completely different feels.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm looking forward to with the Roadster is just the feeling of like you can just it's a lot more, I don't want to say the word disposable, but it's also like you don't have to worry about it as much as you do with the S2000, where you're like, okay, I need to take care of this thing. Yeah.
Significant cost difference between the two, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's fine.
And I think the second part of your question was like, what are your favorite cars?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I have a lot. I would say S2000 is like my overall favorite car right now. RX-7 I think is the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful cars ever made, but I don't know if I would be able to stop owning one. 22B WRX STI, I think that's the having ridden in one, I think that's kind of like the most special Subaru ever made.
Oh, pinnacle.
Oh yeah. Hang on, let me just make a turn here.
I hope the audience can appreciate Albo actually driving and doing this at the same time. Really appreciate it. Please stay safe while you're doing it, though.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fine. And I'm actually arriving here at ASM. I have a meeting with Kanayama-san, who is the general manager of ASM Yokohama.
Okay.
And ASM is a S2000 specialty shop. So yeah, there's a lot of S2000. Nope. Ooh, beautiful. But yeah, so I have to take this meeting actually, but I should be done like in like 20 or 30 minutes.
Okay.
I might come out of here with some goods because one does not simply go into ASM and not find anything. One does not. Trust me, it's a problem. It's a problem. I have.
No, it is, I would say, general taboo, so I can understand that. But
Yeah.
I won't hold you up. We can continue this afterwards. But
Okay, let's continue this in a bit, 20 minutes or so, or 30 minutes. But yeah, anything else before I go?
Just so that we'll reiterate it for the second piece, but could you reiterate some of your handles where people can find you?
Search Albo, ALBO, not elbow. That's a common misconception. I am Albo with an A, not an E and a W. So you'll find me. I mean, yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, all that?
Yeah, Albo Media, Gift Hunter Albo. Yeah, you'll find me.
All right, great. Thanks. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
So I'll catch you guys in a bit. All right.
All right.
Okay. See ya.